This is 15 minutes of an interruption. Just like commercial breaks, it's actually the non-commercial break part. Oh, okay. Anyway, this is the book I'm going to read from. It's a collection of poems based on Greek mythology, tomato, whatever you want to call it. Okay? The poems were written about 10 years plus back. It's just that they appeared in many journals over the years. And then 2 weeks ago, it was published by Recent Work Press in Canberra. I was a writing resident at the International Poetry Studies Institute, and it was part of like a chapbook series. So it's a limited edition of 250 copies, and it's part of a chapbook series. They published 4 chapbooks. Okay, so my first poem is about Helen. Helen, by that I don't mean that vamp, Indian actress vamp, but another vamp. Because Helen, actually, that's why she was called Helen, because, the word refers to a kind of woman. And this is, as Marlowe said, the face that launched 1,000 ships, a really beautiful, really alluring woman over whom the boys fought, over whom the wars were done, between the Greeks and the Trojans. So Helen was married to Menelaus. She's the queen of Sparta. And then she runs off with Paris, or perhaps she's kidnapped. History has never decided. And so Menelaus is the husband who has the insult. He's cuckolded. At the same time, he's the husband who has the rights over her dead body as well. And as I was reading the stories, I was thinking, how could that war have been avoided? Was it possible to avoid? And I thought, there is only one way. And this poem is called Peace Treaty. What if Helen died? What if Helen died? Cuckold crows, husband recalls, body, face, rights. Once broad Trojan devils now cower in the shadows of walls, fearing sky witnesses, quaking at bird shit. Our boy came back from overseas with a souvenir egg that ticked. A runaway wife's a rotten prize, unwanted, alive, and dead. My next poem is actually about a character called Philomela. Philomela and Procne are sisters. And Procne gets married to Tereus. They miss each other. The two sisters miss each other. Tereus comes back home to his wife's sister's house and picks her up to give her a ride to visit her sister. He rapes her. He cuts off her tongue so that she cannot tell the story and locks her up. And Philomela does a tapestry of the story to tell the story because she cannot speak, obviously. But she does a tapestry. And when her sister comes, her sister finds out all about it. And the two sisters kill Procne and Tereus' son and serve him as dinner to Tereus. Okay? So this is the backstory. And I am Philomela's father. And you are Draupadi's mother. And you are Leda's parent. And you are Medusa's mother. Can you remember when your daughter was growing up, discovering the world with her body? playing on your body, pummeling your face, pulling at your nose. You remember. My daughter Philomela. The desire at the back of it all, the right of a maker. Your instinct draws love, trust, commands, duty. Little Philomela, you need my face, putty, Play-Doh nose. You enter verbs, prod nouns, body, a fact you do not separate yet. Isn't it fun running in the open, conquest of trees, wrists, knees, crunchy hair? Twirling in a new dress, 5 husbands gawk, while Draupadi shuddering, lockjawed. What's thoughts? Where's mind? Whose fun park? How to be wrapped? Krishna. Arms crossed, knees fetal, your sleeping position is Leda. Every age imposes its season on you. You, regardless, permissive. Oh, Philomela, a dog is fooled when lover returns as thief. Jatayu's goosed at Sita's heist. I did not even search his face. I taught him son. His ardor, manner, procedure honored your sister. Now, nightingales pity Tereus' father. Parent placed the snake on Medusa's head. We're going to stay with the women for a couple more poems. This one is about Venus and Adonis. Venus is sort of the Roman equivalent of Aphrodite and is in love with Adonis, who is a very handsome young man, a mortal. And the story is that Adonis actually wants to go hunting. He's really not interested in hanging around saying sweet nothings to Venus. This is Venus and Adonis. Exactly the accent I like, olive in mouth. Let's, in the orchard, pips around us. Promise me you'll speak Greek. What are you waiting for? The moon won't get any fuller, nor Venus more voluptuous. Adonis prefers to hunt, not be chased. In any case, Mama loves too Romanesque for his taste. And this is Aphrodite talking. So, you know what happened is in Ovid's Metamorphosis in the stories, you have to think a little harder to think about what is actually happening. Why are these situations occurring, you know? And when I read Ovid, I thought, actually, it's a critique, isn't it? It's a critique of Zeus. He gets his way. He's molesting all of these objects of desire, that whatever his eye falls upon. And how are all the goddesses being depicted, you know? This is something we have to think about, not just take it at face value. But Aphrodite, okay? So entering her skin, I remembered a word. When I was traveling in Italy 25 years ago, a lot of people would just show up out of nowhere, you know, out of thin air behind me. Amore, amore. And I would say, I'm taking a walk, go away. And they would go away. And somebody else would come and say, amore, amore. And the word amour, you know, so interesting, different from love, different from desire, which means both, actually. Very, very fascinating. So anyway, somehow Aphrodite and Amour got together. And this is what I had, a very short poem. Aphrodite. Amorous but no amour. Your cock-tipped smiles, spurting moonbeam. There's a mouth doesn't lie. Okay, so the next poem is called Simile, and it's about Narcissus. You know the story of Narcissus? How he is really very good looking and he keeps rejecting all the advances of all the nymphs. And Echo falls in love with him and he says, no. So she fade out. So she fades out and becomes an echo. Okay? And anyway, so he is led to the river because it's sort of like the justice part of the story and made to look at his own reflection, and he falls in love with the reflection, or so the story goes. And then he drowns. So, single people were never looked upon very kindly. The solo act is always hard. And this is the poem, so you have to pay attention. It's very short, okay? It's like a fragment of the story, or in terms of length. Narcissus drowning in onliness. Narcissus drowning in onliness. The rest in duplicity. There is a casino in Las Vegas called Midas. Midas is about greed. Midas wants something that has actually no use. Or he thinks he wants something that has a use. Talk to me, goldfish. Where is Titanic? Fancy a gold apple. It's greed only if you're hungry. Lady Luck just wants a fuck. You don't need no PhD in alchemy. This poem, the last one, is called Fated, F-E-T-E-D. What does Odysseus do when the Odyssey is done? Memories, man, house on fire, the story ate it all. Back from Iraq, busy being a shape, a guard. Sleeps in the old bed, dines the old way, visitors, none. The front hall scrubbed clean, all of Ithaca's young men chatting in Hades. It's all about the oil, they say. Finite fire. Odysseus, son of Laertes, father of Telemachus, husband of constant Penelope, family man, a long night, one half in a dream, the other half awake, thinking about it. Over and over of Helen to the countrywomen, to the one-eyed scarecrow in the fields, said, nobody. Another war veteran, Prometheus, dented, defizzed, rocket to space junk fell. Wavered, washing ragged upon the crags, flooded by the moon, a startled thief from the day he is engorged and cannot hide, till the day he is mute and will not show. In the shadow of an eagle he sees, keeping watch, a luscious rested tongue, and thirsts for it. Bhishma chooses when to die, after farewells, speeches, and a drink. Last man standing, Yudhishthira, has a friend, a dog. The rest are soldiers, trees, armor, leaves, star tips. End of day survivors count spaces at the table, face down at the bottom of that trench, lots of hands and legs. A child minotaur, branded monster, thrown in a maze, expect a labyrinth, a story, alone, uncastrated, public object, minotaur awaits a hero. We want a dizzying battle, dodge, light-footed Theseus, minotaur froths, prisoner on D-Day. These are 5 different stories. Arjuna retorts, "What do you know, Krishna? What do you know? What it is to be human? Infant on your knees, excruciating, waiting on teeth, from alphabet soup to the world, pregnant, terminate uterus, milk in your breasts, sleeping, dreaming, 2 hands, 2 legs, breath, bowels, decrepit in the mirror. What do you know, Krishna?" Thank you.